Study the best practices. Look at what Silicon Valley did. Look at what Austin did. The playbook. Hire the consultant who's worked with the successful cities. Copy the formula. But here's what's really going on. The cities that win, they're not the ones following playbooks. They write them, and the rest of you follow them. So by the time you're copying what Austin did, Austin moved on. So you're chasing a target that doesn't exist anymore. You're replicating a strategy that worked for someone else, somewhere else, a long time ago. Welcome to Street Economics. I'm Kevin Crowder, founder, and we're here to talk about why your city is a cover band. You see, you're running a franchise economy. Most cities run on festivals, food trucks, retail chains, mixed-use development with the same tenants as every other mixed-use development. Sales tax receipts from people that buy things other people made somewhere else. It's visible, it's safe, and it's not building anything. A franchise is trading hours for dollars, selling someone else's product, filling space for a while, and exporting the products out of your market back to the corporate mothership. Tomorrow, there's nothing different. There's no intellectual property that's been created. There's no exportable product except for your own wealth. And there's no industry cluster forming around original work that's being created in your city. The cities that invest only in consumption, they're franchise operations. They entertain locals. They attract tourists. They generate activity that looks like economic development, but it's not creating lasting value. The money comes in, the money goes out. Off to the franchise owner who lives somewhere else. Off to the brand that was built in a different city. You're moving capital through your city, you're not building wealth in it. But some cities have a production economy. There are cities who actually build something. They're creating intellectual property, companies that export products. They're not copying Silicon Valley. They're becoming the place other cities might try to copy in 10 years. Production economy happens in rooms that economic developers rarely visit. The garage where the prototype gets built. The warehouse where the startups are shipping products out. The weird space in that light industrial district where something's happening that doesn't fit the template. But it's being done by people who don't have time to worry about the shenanigans going on at City Hall. This is where the exportable value gets created, the intellectual property gets made. It's where auxiliary and supportive ecosystems form, the lawyers and the engineers and the specialized services that cluster around original creation. See, Silicon Valley didn't become Silicon Valley because San Jose had an incentive package. It happened because Fairchild Semiconductor existed. And then the engineers left and started Intel, and the production economy formed because the talent clustered and the original work got exploited globally. Detroit didn't need a strategy to become the auto capital. The production infrastructure existed, and then the talent clustered and the ecosystem formed. It's happening in Miami right now with tech and finance, not trying to be Silicon Valley of the South. The place where founders who are tired of San Francisco actually want to live. Different category, different value proposition, copy. So the economic development offices that are chasing the next headquarters relocation are usually somewhere else, while the real economy is forming in a building that they've never visited. And so the strategic that cities making is that trying to become that next whatever, Austin, Nashville, Silicon Valley, Miami. But the moment you say you're the next to anything, you've already lost. You've accepted that you're going to participate in someone else's category and play by their rules, play their game where they have a 20-year head start. You're competing for second place in a race that's already been defined and won. Chasing trailing data. The Austin playbook tells you what worked for Austin 10 years ago. It's a history lesson. It's not a strategy. The time something becomes a best practice, it's already in the rearview mirror. You're navigating a map of where someone else has been. Real economic development isn't copying what worked. It's finding what's about to work. It's finding your unfair potential that has not shown up in anyone's case study yet. The originals that are forming in your city right now, in buildings you've never visited, built by people who don't even look like what success is supposed to look like. Your gut knows where that is. The data is not going to tell you until it's too late. So the cities that break through, they don't compete in those existing categories. They create new ones. Austin didn't try to be the next Silicon Valley. They built the live music capital of the world. And they let tech come to them for the... Miami didn't try to be the next New York. They built something for people who wanted New York's energy, but without New York's friction. So what do you have that no one else does? Not the thing that looks like what successful cities have, the thing that doesn't fit their template, the thing your economic development office probably ignores because it doesn't look like what economic development is supposed to be. The other thing to recognize and remember is that your cultural infrastructure is economic infrastructure. What many city halls get wrong is they think of culture as an amenity. It's a nice to have. It's something you add after the real economic development work is done. It's the decorative layer. Culture is not decoration. Culture is infrastructure. Talent clusters in places because those places have ecosystems that make talent visible. The coffee shop where the founders meet, the co-working space where the deals get made, the neighborhood where creative people actually want to live. The scene that makes people want to be there. A city with cultural infrastructure attracts talent. It retains talent. The talent creates intellectual property. The talent collides with each other and innovates. That builds your production economy, and that generates wealth that stays. A city without cultural infrastructure, or a city that ignores or sidelines or minimizes its cultural infrastructure, is a place where people sleep between shifts at jobs that exist because someone else has that infrastructure. San Francisco had it for decades. Austin has it. Miami has it. The talent followed. It always does. Thing that makes talent want to be in your city. The franchise approach is built for customers, for people who show up, they consume, and they leave. The original approach is built for tribes, for people who belong, who are looking for belonging, people who come back, people who tell other people about it, people who make your city part of their identity. Customers generate transactions while tribes create economies. A festival brings customers, a scene builds tribes. A recruitment campaign attracts employees, an ecosystem attracts believers. Boise has a tribe now. Bentonville, Arkansas has a tribe now. So does Chattanooga. These are not cities that tried to be the next anything. They built for people who wanted what they specifically offered, and the tribe found them. The cities that build for tribes don't need to keep spending money on attraction. The tribe does the marketing. The tribe recruits the new members. The tribe defends the city's reputation when the outsiders talk trash about it. You can't buy that. You can only help support the building of the conditions for that to emerge. Cities that create categories will own them. Which one is yours? Let's do it.